Hey, Status D, please click on the Deck Heroes icon, click on subscribe. It's 100% free, blood in, blood out. Anyway, this is a video, the type of video that I want to do from the get-go. I'm going to do a range of videos, not only relationship type things, maybe a little bit kind of, current culture and news and events, and maybe even a little bit of politics if I can keep it in the middle. But anyway, this is a 54-year-old man who knows a lot about money and managing money. Type of people that we need to give us advice, obviously, generally speaking, and this is an advice to a younger self and the younger people out there, but really just advice to anybody really from an older man's perspective. Let's see what he's got to say.
I'm 54 years old. Now, if I could go back to my 30 or 40-year-old self and give myself some financial advice, here's what I'd say. So the first piece of advice that I would give myself is that you have to save yourself. Somebody is coming through that door to rescue from the mistakes or anything that you've done with your money or want to do with your money. It's on you. Your money is your responsibility. You may have to encourage yourself. You may have to motivate yourself and inspire your own self, but it's all on you. Nobody's coming to rescue you. The second thing I would tell myself is that
Let's just let that marinate. Let's just let that marinate. I'm from a Caribbean culture, okay? A lot of them, I've seen a lot of people who have won money, who have got money, they won money on the lottery or just are coming to money through things being passed on. And not everybody does this, but there's the examples that come to mind is that they kind of give it away to family, which is a good thing. But what is that family member going to spend it on? Are they going to invest that money realistically, especially the younger that they are? Are they going to pay off some debts or something like that, or put in a little savings account? We're Caribbeans, okay? Or they're just going to enjoy themselves a little while. They're going to maybe go on a holiday, and they're going to spend it on drink and parties, and maybe that money filters through to even other members of the family. And that's not a bad thing to give it to family. I'm saying that's a good thing, but I think we should put a little bit more kind of condition on it. If it's not to be wasted. And as I say, I don't want to get into the whole Caribbean culture thing, but listen, the change does start with us. Let's take money and just try and be more responsible for it, whatever culture we're from. And let's see what else he's got to say.
may have to cut some people off out of your life. People who are not going in the same direction you're going when it comes to your money or your life. And you're going to have to attach yourself to those people who are going the direction you're going in life and with money. Or people who have been where you are and are at where you want to get to. Don't waste time with the wrong people around you. Now, the third thing I would tell my
100%. 100%. Your peer group is what it's really talking about, and you want to be a positive member, whatever peer group you're in, moving people upwards and onwards. And only in school can you be the class clown and pretend that it's not going to impact your life in any way. It will impact your life in any way, and it just the difference between, I say, those class clowns and the people who had their focus early on, it just gets bigger and bigger over time. And those class clowns, maybe they work something which is at a level which is far lower than their potential. Okay, so you don't want to be holding somebody else back, is what I'm really saying, in terms of the peer group, and you don't want somebody else holding you back. You know what I mean? So you need to be part of this kind of positive cohort. I don't want to go too much into it, but I remember when I was at college, got loads and loads of Asian friends, and they would be part of like a study group and really helping each other and talking through the problems in the class, and they all wanted to achieve, and they wanted each other to achieve. And oh my gosh, we as a community, we need to get to there. But anybody can do that. Your friends are not your competitors. Even your classmates are not your competitors. There's way many people beyond that who you may well be competing for the same jobs, but it's unlikely to be within that same circle. So if you as a team can help each other out in order to progress your lives, that's the way to go. And just be part of that smart mindset no matter how old you are. He's absolutely right.
Your 40-year-old is, don't be afraid to make changes, okay? And do things differently. Don't get caught doing things the same way you've always done them, right? Because if you do things the same way you always do it, you're going to end up getting the same results that you always got. So you got to do things different. And look, don't be afraid of doing things differently. Sometimes fear holds us back. Don't let that fear keep you from doing what you got to do. You may have to make some major and some major changes, but you got to keep going despite fear. But push yourself to dream big financially and put on your big boy pants and get it done. Now, the fourth thing that I would probably tell my
He's absolutely correct, obviously. Listen, one thing I can't... The times when I'm more disappointed with myself, if I keep it to self before I talk about anybody else, at the time, and it doesn't happen that often, I'm going to tell you this. At the times, though, when I reflect on when I wasn't happy in a job or I wasn't happy with something in particular, let's keep it to work, and I wasn't actually doing anything actively about it. That's what I'm thankful about, like the foundations I got from my parents and things like that, which was kind of trying to push me on to achieve. So I knew what my goal was, and I was kind of always had that goal in mind from a very young age, and just to stick with it, basically. But most definitely, you need to bring about the change that you want to see. So yeah, if you're not happy in your career and you need to upskill, do it. Don't make excuses and you kick it down the line and you're kind of unhappy in the job that you're doing or whatever we're talking about, like a relationship or whatever it happens to be. Don't keep kicking that down the line and not taking ownership that that's your fault if you kick it down the line and you don't actively do something about it. And you can pretend to others, that we are the victims, but at the end of the day, we have to take the most active role in our lives in order to move it forwards. If we want our lives to move forwards, we need to be the most motivated member of the group and not some kind of passive bystander. If you need to retrain to get the job that you're talking about. Your friend's doing really well. Hopefully he'll just kind of get you on, but hopefully he'll give you that roadmap of how to get there. He's not going to open all the doors for you, or he or she's not going to open all the doors for you. You need to be the most proactive person to do it. He's not going to do it for you. And they're not going to want to do. They're not going to want to open door for somebody and have somebody else mess up what they've got. So again, just get that thing going. Don't wait till tomorrow. Be the change that you want to see. Take ownership of it.
My 30-year-old or 40-year-old self is that stuff ain't that important when it's all said and done, right? You really want to put your money to work in the background. Who cares about stuff? In the end, stuff don't even matter as much as you may think it matters. It really don't matter that much. Right? What matters more is your money going to work for you and working real hard for you back there where nobody can see it. So I would tell myself, hey, don't spend time trying to look rich and look like you got something, but focus that energy on getting wealthy in the back, right? Where people can't see it and it's none of their business to see it. They shouldn't be seeing it. Now, what I tell myself is
100%. How many times do you see poor people? I know this as I grew up from council estate to being relatively wealthy by my own standards of doing quite well. Anyway, how many times do you see where poor people have got expensive trainers on, massive huge TVs at home, driving around, or back in the days, oh my gosh, there'd be people driving around in kind of nice enough cars that can't afford the petrol, maybe can't afford the insurance, all that kind of stuff. It's just flossing, it's just things. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily things which you're investing in your future. It might make you happy, and it's kind of a relatively kind of low class community status thing, but it's ain't going to move your life forward. So yeah, I mean, this guy's a financial boffin. Anything he can do which China saves to improve your future financially, that's the tip he's trying to give, I think.
invest if you can. Stretch yourself to put more money away towards your investments as early as if you're 35, 36, 37, 40, put away as much money as possible. The sooner you start doing that, the more compound interest can really go to work on your behalf. Look, you're going to pay for it anyway. You're going to pay when you're 60 or you're going to pay when you're 30. I suggest you pay it when you're 30, when you have the energy, you have the good health, and you're motivated when you're 30 years old. Pay for it at 30 so you can chill when you're 60. Because you don't want to pay for it when you're 60 and regret the fact that you didn't pay for it when you was 30. Now, that takes me to the sixth thing. The sixth thing I'd probably tell my...
Yeah, he's talking about savings. I think there's certain luxuries before we get to the point of saving. You know what I mean? So I work in homelessness and things like that. So I work with a lot of people of low income. And it's like, are you always eating out? Or are you cooking a meal? despite the cost of living, most people can eat quite well. No, no, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about the most. Or a lot of people can eat very well. I'm not talking about the homeless now, kind of broadening it out. People can eat very well if they budget well and they're willing to buy food and they're willing to cook it. That may well involve having a cookbook. That might involve kind of learning by doing. You know what I mean? And if you are eating out every day, the saving that you will make will be enormous. So, as I say, there's one thing again, I'm talking about savings, but really what I'm talking about is kind of like more budgeting, and then it's about debt management. So, if you have credit cards and things like that, think about what the reason why you've got that credit card. There may well be some very good reasons. Say I work in homelessness, and there may also be some very bad reasons, and I've seen everything in between. I've heard stories just going beyond homelessness where people are spending holidays, pay for holidays on the credit card, and when you're younger, it may sound like a carefree thing to think about doing, but when you're paying that interest at 28% or whatever it's going to be every single year, that's a bad investment. And once you've got those kind of debts, or any kind of debts, doesn't have to be credit card debts, that is your priority to pay that off, and then beyond that, we can save.
Self is start now, don't wait. The longer you wait, the harder it's going to get. Look, it's hard to just turn it on when you're 50, 55 years old. And if you're 50, 55 years old, let me know in the comments if what I'm saying is right. But when you get to be 50, 55, 60, 65, you don't want to have to turn it on all of a sudden and start saving a whole bunch of money. You sort of wish you had done that when you was 30 years old or 35 years old. You ever see like a game that's a 4-quarter game, and end of the game, you see the team working real hard and really hustling real hard, and you're asking yourself, well, why wasn't you doing all that hard work in the first quarter and in the second quarter? Why you wait till 6 minutes to go at the end of the game to turn it on? Apply that to your life. In the first part of your life, go with it, go hard, right? So turn it on as soon as you can, and don't wait till the end of the fourth quarter to start getting really serious about this thing. Now, the seventh thing I would tell my 30.
Yeah, that's 100% true. Yeah, don't listen. As soon as you get that moment of realizing, and you stop making excuses younger on. When you're young, it's like, oh yeah, because you're young. We should stop saying that, because we're building in excuses to young people in all levels. You're doing this because you're young, you're doing that because you're young. Well, actually, it's because you're making excuses and it's slack, and you need to be focused on target. And the people who are focused on target, they are going to be the high achievers. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh. I've got a psychology degree, and I remember reading about the people, the kids in Asia and their maths ability, and it's like ridiculously higher than us in the West. That's about focus on target and focusing on achievement and not making excuses. You know what I mean?
40-year-old self is to exercise, walk, keep your body in shape, keep your body in good physical condition so that you're here for the long haul. Right? What good is it to have a whole lot of money if you're not in good shape and good physical condition to enjoy it? Now, the eighth thing I would say to myself, my 30 or 40-year-old self, is forgive your parents as soon as you can. Your parents probably did the absolute best they could do with what they had. Maybe they didn't have a whole bunch of money. Maybe they didn't send you to this type of school or that school, or buy you this or buy you that. Look, the sooner you can forgive your parents and move on, the better. Don't live back there in the past. Look, all parents, all people, all humans, we all make mistakes. We make mistakes in life and with money. Don't beat yourself up, and make sure you forgive you and you forgive your parents for whatever took place in the past. And you need to live life moving forward, looking forward. The key is to recognize those mistakes, forgive, and move on. Keep going forward. Now, the ninth thing I would tell my
Yeah, I definitely agree about the physical health. I think the endorphins, we are an organic being, and keeping that kind of tip top in health is obviously going to produce benefits, and it will not be a struggle in later life if we take care of that organic thing. Our bodies basically take care of us now, and they'll last us into the future. And overcoming trauma, whether that's with parents or anybody else, just looking after self, kind of our mental health, I definitely support that. Yeah, let's go on.
Your 40-year-old self is simply what you focus on is going to grow, right? Whatever you put intention to and energy behind is what's going to flourish. It's going to flourish in the direction where you put that energy at. If you come to a situation with your personal finances and you're putting a lot of energy into being negative, that's going to grow and it's going to fester and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But if you take all that energy and you put it towards something positive regarding your personal finances, then that's what's going to grow in that direction. See, because abundance and lack are all around us. They're everywhere. Everywhere we look, we have people that are abundant and people that are lacking and don't have as much, right? The key is this: we get what we choose to focus on. So what I would tell my 30 or 40-year-old self is focus on the abundance. Don't focus on the lack. Focus on what you can do, what you can have, and put that energy there so that that is what begins to take place and manifest in your life, whether it's your life or your personal finances, right? Spend more energy and focus and time and money on fixing problems and growing than you spend on trying to figure out who's at fault, who's to blame, how terrible those mistakes are. Don't put your energy there. Put your energy on the positive. Put your focus on what's next, what's coming, what's possible, and keep that positive energy and that positive mindset. And you'll have abundance because you're focusing on abundance. The 10th thing I would say to myself is simply this.
Listen, I think he's talking about our community-related issues, but I think in anybody who's kind of wanting to move things forward, 100%, it's just absolutely stellar advice. Absolutely stellar advice. There may well be many reasons why people don't always move on with their lives as individuals or communities, but I think definitely focusing on I can't do more so than the things that you can do in order to move your life forwards is obviously going to lead to better outcomes.
Guys, today you are as young as you will ever be. If you're 30 years old and you're watching this, if you're my 40-year-old former self, hey, you only get older from here. Time doesn't wait on you. And the older you get, the faster time passes us by. So you don't get moments, you don't get days back. Oftentimes you don't get opportunities back. You got to seize the opportunities that are put before you with both money and time, right? Now, the 11th thing that I would tell my 30 or 40-year-old self is that your life and your money changes when you change. Your life and your money gets better when you get better. Your money and your life will improve when you improve. You want things to change with your money? You want to have more money? You want to have more investments? You got to make some changes because it ain't changing till you change. And when you change, it changes. Now, the 12th thing I would tell myself, my 30, 40-year-old self, is make sure.
Yeah, that was a little bit on the abstract. That's the abstract, but listen, you need to be very deliberate, I think is what he's saying. You need to be very deliberate. So if you've got a given budget and you need to save for something else, whether that's to have a little bit of money for investments or whatever it is, then yeah, you need to be very dedicated and deliberate. And of course, then I'll tell you whether it's possible or not and how much compromise you might have to make along the way and for how long. That's it. And also, it's not just about that. I say maybe it's about income. You've got a given level of income that's going to determine your budget. And if you want that budget to increase, then again, there's maybe other things that you need to sacrifice, or you might need to change profession or upskill and just do some research about what you can do about things and make that change and be very proactive about it. You can do it.
That you help other people and you give to other people. Not just to get something out of it, but you give and you help other people because it's just the right thing to do. See, I would tell my former self, listen, the price you pay for all the beauty of living and life itself is to give and help other people because you're not in the world by yourself. And giving and helping others is a small price to pay for the beauty of life that we all enjoy. Now, the next thing I tell my 30 or 40-year-old self is, please make a financial plan for your money and for your life with money. And why? Because I want you to have some direction. I want the plan that you come up with, the strategy, the plans, I want to help guide decisions. If you have no direction in life and with money, life and money could end up anywhere. And all that is regarding money based on what's in your strategy and your come up with for your money. Develop that is what I tell your self. The final I'll probably tell my 30 or 40-year-old self about money.
The only reason I stopped, it's just talking about being deliberate again. I could see the video being a little bit choppy. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it, but I'm going to research about different kind of recording systems, and I will do that as soon as I can. But hopefully this won't be too choppy. And if it is, I'll try and do some editing and just cut out bits. But obviously, I don't really want to cut out these golden advice that he's giving us. Fingers are crossed.
You can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you react and how you think. Because how you think determines how you behave, and how you behave determines the results and the outcome, right? So your thinking really has a direct connection to your outcomes. So how you think matters. That's why you got to get your thinking right. Right? Then you'll start to behave accordingly, and ultimately the outcomes will be based on your thoughts. So get the right thinking, get the right outcomes. Look, guys, I'm 54 years old, and I've seen a lot of 30 and 40-year-old people make some of the biggest financial mistakes of their life. Look, we can all blow off our 20s and be okay. But we can't blow off our 30s and 40s and have a good rest of our life in our 60s and 70s. So there you have it. That's my 30 or 40.
Yeah, as I say, there's a little bit on the abstract. I think in terms, I don't know what he means by the thinking bit. I'm going to be totally honest, but I guess it's just being positive, progressive, deliberate, researching the goals that you're trying to achieve, so you can roadmap how to get there, and then just put whatever effort it takes in to make it happen, and just get rid of any obstacles in order to make it happen in the nicest way. Yeah, no, very good video. I'm gonna try and find some more kind of lifestyle, open your world and self-optimization type videos, and yeah, very good. Thank you, kind sir. Anyway, please like, subscribe. That is Steve, and I am out.